Hello, everyone. Welcome to Geometry. My name is Brent May. I'm going to be your teacher this year, and I just wanted to run through your Geometry Canvas page a little bit to help get you started. So this is your home page. It's got this cute little picture, a little description about what geometry is. Down here at the bottom are going to be a couple links to different sites we're using a lot this year. So if you ever need to get to one of those, you can just click right on it. The only other thing here at this home page I want to make sure you know about is the course calendar. So Mr. Sheridan and I tagged like soft due dates on most of your assignments. The calendar is loading. So once the calendar pulls up here, you'll be able to see when we recommend you have things done. So there will be like hard due dates on some things, like there'll be a big project that we're doing for every chapter, and obviously test days and quiz days. Those will be like set, and we'll post those on here as we get closer to them. But we went ahead and put where we recommend you try to be, because a lot of this year is going to be self-paced. You know, that we tried to plan it so that you can either blow through a whole chapter in 2 days if you want to, or take 3 weeks to do it, and it's totally up to you. So we recommended these different dates where you're done with each of these assignments, and I think we have it into October already as well. I think there's one assignment that pops up here. Anyways, that is, we didn't unlock the second phase yet. That's why you can't see it. Okay. So your calendar has these due dates that you can kind of see, again, where we recommend you are. So keep an eye on that for your own sanity and pacing to make sure that you're not getting too far behind, especially, I guess, too far ahead is the thing. Nah. Loading. All right, now that you've seen that, I'm going to show you the modules real quick, because that is like your bread and butter for this year. So you got a bunch of different tabs over here. Google Drive, there'll be things that you make like copies of docs and stuff. Those will be there. In discussions, whenever you have like a group discussion, or there's actually like a comment thread, if you ever have course questions or comments about anything, you can just post on there. So if you want to see your classmates or find who's in your class, message somebody in particular, you can do that in the people. When we have quizzes, they'll be in the quizzes tab. Assignments, I wouldn't really recommend using it. You can get to all the assignments from modules. Excuse me. And they're just like unorganized in here. They're jumbled around. So I wouldn't recommend using the assignments tab, but it's there if you find a use for it. Modules. This is your guy right here. Modgies. Show me your modules. All right, so we've got Welcome to Geometry. You've actually probably already found this page, because this video is going to be stored on the class tour page. Yep, there it goes. All right, I was just going to say, some of these are going to gray out in a second. Every once in a while, we'll do that where we want you to go through the content in a specific order. So you have to like look at the class tour page, and then you can see the syllabus, and then you can get to mindsets, and then you can move your way through. But then other times we're not going to require an order. Like you could go down here and do angle classification practice first if you want. Go for it. I wouldn't recommend it. I put this stuff in a specific order because I think it's the way that it most naturally builds. So I would always recommend working from top to bottom, but you do you. City projects. So these are going to have a little bit more structure to them. This chunk right here, you can work through, like I said, whatever order, whatever pace you see fit. But these are going to be a little bit more structured, because this will be a group project that you're going to be working on, and there'll be one for every chapter. This is considered a project-based learning course, so almost half your grade will come from the project that you do for every chapter. Yeah. So very important that you work on those once you have guidance for it. I really would suggest not trying to jump in, because you don't even know your group yet. There's that. So please don't jump in there. And then when we do give you quizzes and tests, they'll be down here in the assessments chunk. So we'll post those as that gets closer. Now let's look at two things I want to show you. I've got to click on class tour to get to the syllabus, even though the class tour page is blank, because I'm just now making this video. Loading. There it is. Next. More loading. Bum, 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 bum. So how was your summer? Did you guys do anything fun? It's crazy long. I was so bored. I'm so happy to be back. Not really. I could have stayed home forever. It was amazing. I learned that I was terrible at gardening. Killed everything. It was so bad. In the garden, not like, never mind. Don't. Okay, here we go. This at the top of your syllabus are your learning targets. So every try, we're going to have three main chapters or three main things that we learn. Mr. Sheridan and I tried to really reduce that. It used to be like 15 things every trimester, and we just crunched it down so that we could spend more time talking about broad ideas rather than being like quiz tomorrow, quiz next Thursday, quiz the following Friday. Like, I hate doing that. We want to spend time learning, talking, thinking, and not just testing all the stinking time. So we're going to start out doing this first one right here, and it's phrased so that you can tell what it is that you should be able to do when you finish this chapter, when you finish phase one. And obviously it builds throughout the year. This is still considered standard-based grading, even though we're using percentages because we're grading you on these standards or these abilities to do different things. But it is using percentages, so there's a breakdown here of kind of like how the grade relates to a percentage, to your GPA, and kind of what that means as far as your ability level in reference to the learning target. Then the second page. So everyone's favorite question, how am I going to be graded? Well, two fun ones. So formative means for information only. So your homework, your practice assignments are for information only. Also, your quizzes will be for information only. You will get a score, but they will not go into PowerSchool. I know, right? Crazy. That's amazing. Oh, wait, that means that my tests and projects make up like my whole grade. Hope you don't have anxiety. No, I'm just teasing. I know it's not that bad. It is though. We are not grading quizzes in the grade book. They are just for your information to see where you're at. Do I need to go back and work harder? Do I have a good idea of what I'm doing here? And also so that Mr. Sheridan and I can kind of keep tabs on your progress as well. If you're tanking your quizzes, we probably should have a conversation before test day. Also, practice assignments, not grading homework, right? How nuts. Make your own bed, sleep in the bed you make, whatever that old saying is. If you don't want to do homework, I'm going to be on your case about not doing homework when I see that you don't have anything done on your Khan Academy or on your quizzes. We're going to have a conversation about it. But if you choose not to, it won't negatively impact your grade. But in my 10 years of teaching, I've found that people who tend to not do their homework, not do their assignments, tend to suck when it comes to test day. Maybe you're the exception, though, because you're so stinking special. Very sarcastic. You're going to have to get used to it. I know it doesn't translate onto the internet very well, but whatever. Here we are. City projects. So all year long, you're going to be working on developing your own city, or you're going to be working with a group to develop a city. You're going to plan out the whole city, what it looks like, the laws, how you get resources. There's just tons and tons and tons. It's huge, right? It's all year long. But what we're going to be doing with that project is learning how to use the geometry that we're covering, not just memorizing to take a test so that you can forget it the next week, right? That's the idea that we're building to here. Mr. Sheridan and I are both very passionate about learning this way. So, it's not the end all be all. It's not your entire grade, but it is a very big part of it. And we will be doing a lot of talking about how that looks once we get into the year. Now, your test will also obviously be summative. They'll be at the end of every chapter. And if you do happen to tank, this is where I was joking about the anxiety piece, because if you do just totally botch this, there is a makeup assignment. Now, the makeup assignment is not just a retake. It's not just the same problems with different numbers. It's going to be a very open-ended, broad questions that you're going to have to just basically sit down and prove to me that you know how to do that learning target is the main idea. And so maybe you turn something in and it's not that great. I'm not just going to give you an F and say all right, well, you failed the test, you failed the makeup, so sucks to suck. You have a chance to do revisions over and over and over. So if we're at the end of the year, if we're at the end of the trimester and you still aren't happy with your very first learning target, you can keep revising it. Now, understand what I just said there. I didn't say you can wait till the end of the trimester and then be like, hey, I want to go back and retake that test. I want to make that up now. You need to identify that you weren't happy with your test grade pretty quickly, like within a week or so, and let me know that you want to start your makeup assignment. And I'm saying that if it takes you the rest of the trimester revising, turning back in, revising, turning back in, over and over and over, I promise you that you can get 100% on everything we do this year. But you just have to stick with it, right? That to me is so much more important than you to be able to sit down on one day and ace a test. If you can show that you stick with it and you're not going to accept failure, you're going to persevere and press through. That's A plus material right there for me. So you do have that option right there. And again, that could potentially count for half your grade. If you decide to do that for every single test, it would be a lot of work to do all of that on top of the new learning for every single test. I'd suggest just doing your work and acing the test. That'd be great. But if you don't, there's always a backup or fail-safe option for you. Now, the other two pieces are so these two are summative as well. Spiral is that at the end of every test after our first one, it'll be a cumulative review of things that we've done all year long to help you prep for the SAT or ACT in the next year or two. So that will count for another chunk of your grade, and the exam at the end of every trimester will count for 10% of your overall grade. So these aren't exactly your whole grade, the tests and the project, but they do make up a large chunk along with your spiral and exam standards. So if you have any questions about how you're going to be graded, please feel free to email me. You'll hear me say that 1.5 billion times this year. Email, call, whatever you need to do. Get a hold of me, talk to my face. Let me know what you're struggling with so that we can help get you where you need to be. All right, that is your syllabus. Move, mouse. Modules, again, I do think there was something else I wanted to say before I cut you loose. We'll go through the mindset, metacog stuff, talked about that stuff. Oh yeah, practice. So when you get to the practice pages, so the videos are interactive. It's the kind of introduction videos that Mr. Sheridan recorded. And then there's like question survey stuff to kind of check in on how much information you picked up off those videos. And then there is the practice assignment. So you'll watch his videos, do the survey Google Forms on the videos he takes. Then once you feel like you've got an idea of what's going on, you'll come over to the practice. Now, when you click on this conventions practice, it's going to take you to the Google Doc. It'll make you a copy of your own Google Doc that you can work in. I would highly suggest printing these out if you're a fully virtual student. It is really, really, really hard to type your notes in a Google Doc for math, right? Like, how do you record math thinking digitally? It's really hard to do. And I forgot to mention, your assessments, quizzes, and tests will be open notes. So you really want to make sure you've got solid records of your thinking as you go through this, not just answers. Answers won't help you on a test. You need to know how you got answers. So make sure that you are printing those out, if at all possible, so that you can record your thinking as you go. Now, once you print those, or once you have a paper copy of it, don't just start doing the problems. I've recorded a video of me going through each of the practice pages. And so I'll ask you to pause a lot in these videos so that you can work ahead. But I wanted to record these videos for the people or whenever you're working on these without me in the room, so that you can see and hear how I got answers, not just be like, oh, you got A for that point. Okay, well, why didn't you get D or E? Right? Like, if you watch the video, you know why I have those answers. I didn't just post an answer key because it's not really that helpful in understanding how you think through these problems. So again, these videos are interactive in that you're supposed to work through the page with me, and then you can also be checking answers as you go. Once you finish that, then here's your individual practice. So this is where we finally cut you loose and say, like, all right, we've done all we can do. Go do your thing. And a lot of stuff will be uncommon this year just because it gives you immediate feedback. Problems are already built. It's really easy and convenient for you to use. There'll also be quizzes. Whatever, you'll see later. They're like games that you can play for review and stuff like that. But this is all just intended to help you solidify the learning that we covered in the practice and in the original videos, right? Again, it's not graded, but I will be on your case if I see that you haven't completed any of your your assignments for this chapter. Like, you need to be working on them because this will be the only way you have a chance to learn the stuff before test day comes up. And again, if you fail a test, you can bounce back, but it's a lot of work, those makeup assignments. So it's a really good idea to do your assignments, make sure you're ready for quiz and test day, so that you can crush it the first time through and don't have to worry about those. Then if you finish all of that and you still feel a little shaky, or if you're just somebody who really likes to make sure you know what you're doing, there's always going to be optional practice down here. Again, it is completely optional, but you can definitely mess around with that, work through some of it, ask questions about things to help solidify your understanding. Woo! That felt like a lot. Well, I think that's it for now. Oh, if it needs to be marked as done, that's in the top right corner. You just click that, and that lets you go on to the next thing if it's like grayed out or whatever. So I'm sure you have questions. You're going to have questions. Please email me. Ask questions. Let me know what you need. I'm not in the room to see that confused look on your face a lot of times, so you have to reach out and let me know what you need. I'm here. I will break my schedule to do whatever I can to help support you. It has to start with you, though. I will say this every single year of my teaching career: I have no problem with letting you fail. I know it's hard to hear, but this is your education. It is your grade, your learning. I'm just a resource that's here to help you. I will bend over backwards, get up in the middle of the night, work with you on weekends, whatever you need, but it has to start with you. So that always hurts to say, but it's the honest truth. If you don't put in the effort, it's not going to end well. Well, it'll end well. I'll just see you next year. That'll be fun. No, it won't. Don't do that. Don't fail. You have to repeat. This is a graduation requirement. Got to do it. All right, guys, that's enough for me for today. Go ahead and start exploring around Canvas. And as always, let me know how I can help.